Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Wednesday, April the 3rd. We got a big NBA slate for Wednesday, 12 games. I'm going to go through each position, talk about some of the guys that stand out to me on this 12-game slate. We'll work our way through the player pool. Of course, I'll give my 5 plays for DraftKings, 5 plays for Yahoo. These are 5 players that I do specifically like for each site. Before we do get started, though, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. But starting off at point guard today, our 2 stud options, guys over 10K at this position, are James Harden and Devin Booker. And looking at these guys, just on this slate specifically, I don't really have interest in paying up for either one. Harden coming off a back-to-back is in a pretty good spot here against the Clippers, but there's just other guys that I would rather play for cheaper on this slate. Devin Booker has been playing out of his mind lately, but he's in a tough spot against the Jazz, and he's also very expensive at $10,300. I think we could get similar upside, if not better games, out of guys that are cheaper. And Ben Simmons is one of those guys that stands out to me. He's $9,500 on DraftKings, and he is 44 over here on Yahoo. I played Ben Simmons last slate. It didn't go out, or it didn't go that well, but going right back to the well on him, with Joel Embiid out for this game and Jimmy Butler possibly out as well. Butler's questionable right now. Ben Simmons is going to have to do all the heavy lifting. It's a great matchup against the Hawks. I don't really see how Ben Simmons scores less than 50 fantasy points here. He's been terrific in this matchup so far this year. Through 3 games against the Hawks, he's averaged 57 DraftKings points, nearly has averaged a triple-double against the Hawks this year. So love Ben Simmons, love the other point guard on the other side of this game. I think Trae Young is in a really good spot as well. He's 8,400 on DK, and he's 41 on Yahoo. I definitely like paying up for him on the slate as well. I think this game has a lot of appeal if you want to stack it. If you want to play like Simmons and Harris, and then maybe play Trae Young, some value potentially from the Hawks you could look to, because they're going to be pretty thin. But Trae Young's the one that's really been carrying this Hawks offense, playing pretty big minutes, 33 to 35 minutes in competitive games. He's been very productive. Obviously a guy that has a lot of upside. And if Jimmy Butler misses this game, that's one of the better defenders that you're going to take off of the Sixers. It becomes a much better matchup for Trae Young if Butler is out. So I like him a lot here at 8,400. The guy is still underpriced for how well he's been playing lately. He's kind of like a 9K player in my opinion, at least right now in the season with what he's doing on a nightly basis. So I'm going to be taking advantage of this price. I definitely like Trae Young, 8,400 on DK. But now looking at other point guards we could potentially go to, Mike Conley is doubtful for today, so that could open up some value at this position. You have DeLon Wright at 6,500. You also have Tyler Dorsey, who's relatively cheap. He's down here at 4,800. Tyler Dorsey could definitely be a value play. Trey Burke as well could be a value play if Luka Doncic is out today. Those are 2 guys you could consider for cheap if you're going cheap at this position. Those are the ones that really stand out to me. Walt Lemon Jr. obviously was a chalky play last slate. He was the minimum 3K. DraftKings jumped his price up to 4,700. You can definitely look elsewhere. There's other guys you could play, like Dorsey at 4,800 with Mike Conley doubtful. It's probably a better play than Lemon Jr. Dorsey's the value play that I really like at point guard right now. But I think that's it for this position. Let's go ahead and talk about some shooting guards real quick. So at the top of the shooting guard position, like I said, I don't really have a ton of interest in the top options here. I think, no, you can't play, I don't think you can play Trae Young at shooting guard, but Bradley Beal you have at 9K, D'Angelo Russell you have at 9,100. Really don't like either guy. I would just rather play Ben Simmons. If we're talking about guys that are in that price range, I would rather play Trae Young for cheaper. So don't really see myself paying up at shooting guard today. I think this position provides value in mid-tier plays with DeLon Wright, with Mike Conley doubtful. I think Dorsey you can play at shooting guard as well. He could potentially be a value play. He's 4,800 if you want to go there. If you want to play Lemon Jr., I think he's shooting guard eligible. Yeah, he's shooting guard, so those are the 2 guys I really like. If Taurean Prince misses again, then Justin Anderson at 4,800 could be a value play you look to. Maybe with Marvin Williams doubtful, Nicholas Batum will enter the rotation. He's been actually getting DMP'd lately. That'll be interesting to see if they decide to move him back into the starting lineup or decide to give him minutes. But I think with Marvin Williams doubtful for today, that's definitely going to open up Frank Kaminsky as a play. If Tarian Prince misses again. Kent Bazemore as well at 4,100 is a value play you could consider. But let's go ahead and talk about some small forwards now and go over this position. So Jimmy Butler, I do like quite a bit at small forward if you can pay up for him. If he does play today, he's in a really good spot against the Hawks with no Embiid. Tobias Harris as well at 7,500 with no Embiid is probably those are probably the two guys I'm looking to today. I'm definitely going to be loading up on Sixers on the slate. Butler, Harris, Simmons, those are the guys I'm really looking to. Those are the guys that really benefit when Embiid's off the floor. Jabari Parker, I wouldn't mind at 6,400. Revenge game for him. He's done really well against his former team since he's been on the Wizards. He's played the Bulls a couple of times and he's had some pretty big games against them. So Jabari Parker at 6,400 could definitely be a play you look to. If we're talking about value plays, though, if we're trying to go cheap here, not a ton stands out to me for value. Like AD is probable. He's expected to play. We'll actually see if he does play, but that would definitely hurt Kenrich Williams. I don't think we want to go to him. If Prince misses, then you have the value from the Hawks you could consider with Anderson and Bembry. I think Kent Bazemore is small forward eligible as well. Jaylen Brown, I believe, is doubtful for today, so that could open up Marcus Smart. I don't think he's small forward. Let's go back to shooting guard, see if we can find Marcus Smart. They probably jumped his price is up to $5K. That's not a bad value play. You could definitely play Marcus Smart here with Jaylen Brown doubtful. That should also make Gordon Hayward a pretty interesting play. I'm not sure what Gordon Hayward's price tag is. Let's see if we can find him. He's 5,300. He should see a few more minutes with Jaylen Brown doubtful. So those are two guys you could consider for cheaper plays if you're looking to go cheap at small forward. But this position really, I'm looking to the guys from the Sixers, Harris and Jimmy Butler. Those are the guys I really like. And then if you need the value, I think the guys from the Hawks, if Prince misses, those are probably where you can look to at this position. But let's go ahead and talk about some power forwards now. So power forward definitely has a couple interesting plays I do want to hit on, especially when we talk about some value. There's a lot of value that I like at this position in the 4K range. Before we do get to the value, though, looking at the stud plays, LaMarcus Aldridge, a guy you have at the top here, 8,600 against the Nuggets. Aldridge going to play big minutes, but this is not an ideal spot on the road against the Nuggets. There's probably other places I would rather look to on this slate, and I don't think power forward is a position I'm really going to be looking to pay up at. Like, Siakam's in a great matchup, but he's also 8K, and Kawhi Leonard's expected to play today, so don't think we want to go to Siakam. I think this position is really loaded with value plays. We'll talk about some of these guys I like in this 4K range. Looking under 5K, there's three of them that really catch my eye. So the first one is Luke Cornett. He's 4,700 on DraftKings. He's at center on Yahoo, which I don't love, but he's still just so cheap that he's definitely in play for me. $14 at center. So Cornett's been starting lately for the Knicks. Him and Mitchell Robinson have been starting, and they've both been playing very well. Last two games for Cornett, 45 and 41 DraftKings points. I don't expect this 40-point streak to continue, but I think you can easily get 30-plus DraftKings points out of Cornett if he's going to continue to see the minutes, which I imagine he would. He's played 36 and 28 minutes the last two games, so I'd expect him to play about 30 minutes here. Could easily give you 30 DraftKings points. It's not the greatest spot against the Magic. Magic do play very good team defense. They are good defensively as a team, but still like Cornett at 4,700. The price tag is just too cheap for how well he's been playing lately. And then another guy that I really like for value is Frank Kaminsky. He's 4,600 on DraftKings. They did raise his price up quite a bit, but on Yahoo, he's the minimum at power forward. Have a ton of interest in him over here. So Marvin Williams is doubtful for this game, and we know that Cody Zeller is going to remain out. So that's going to open up a ton of minutes for Frank Kaminsky. He hasn't played many minutes lately, but I would imagine that since Williams is not going to play today, there's a chance Kaminsky starts, and even if he doesn't start, I would be surprised if he plays less than like 24, 25 minutes. And it's a great matchup with the Pelicans. If we get 25 to 30 minutes out of Kaminsky here, he could easily return 5, 6x value on this price. I think 30 DraftKings points is easily in play for Frank Kaminsky. And if he does start, I feel a lot better about him. I feel like the minutes would be there if he's in the starting lineup. So 4,600 Kaminsky with Williams doubtful looks like a great value if you want to play him at power forward or center. And then the last guy I want to talk about at this position, also another cheap play. He's down here at 4,200. Von Raab against Portland. I like quite a bit today as a value. I like him on both sides. He's on center, or he's at center on Yahoo as well, which isn't as appealing, but he's still just so cheap that he's hard to avoid. So we know that Jonas Valanciunas is done for the season. Mike Conley is doubtful. Von Reb is kind of like the last man standing for the Grizzlies right now. Joakim Noah is questionable. If Noah plays, then obviously that will take some minutes away from Rab, and that will make me not like him as much. I would definitely have interest in Noah if he's able to play today. But since Noah's questionable, I would imagine that Rab is going to be the starter here, even if Noah plays. And the minutes should be there. The Grizzlies really just don't have anyone else that they can throw out there. I'd expect Rab to play about 30 minutes and easily can give you 30 DraftKings points. He's a very productive player when he gets minutes. It's not the best matchup against Portland, but when you take Yusuf Nurkic off the floor and put Kanter on the floor, it does become a little bit better of a matchup for Von Rob. So 4,200 looks like one of the better values on the slate. Him, Kaminsky, Cornette all stand out to me at power forward if you're trying to go cheap here. But now talking about center and going over this position really quickly, Karl-Anthony Towns, the top option here against Dallas. Don't really have a ton of interest in Towns, especially if Blake Griffin sits today. Griffin is questionable. If Griffin is out, then I would just rather play Andre Drummond, who is $700 cheaper. He's facing the Pacers, a team that he just played last game and still had a very good game against, even though it's a tough matchup. Drummond's going to be a key play for me here if Blake Griffin sits. I still like Simmons a ton, and I like Trae Young a ton. Those are two guys I am trying to pay up for, but if Griffin's out, then Drummond's going to be a guy that I do look to at 9,700, even in the tough matchup. Gobert's price I'm not a big fan of, but his matchup is very good against the Suns. You could definitely look there if you need to find a mid-tier play. Capella as well against the Clippers, another guy that's in a great matchup. His price tag's a little elevated, but still the matchup is just so good that he is a bit hard to avoid. Mitchell Robinson, another guy that's seen his price elevate, but just playing so well, playing huge minutes. Mitchell Robinson definitely in play for me, even with his price tag starting to get up there. If you're going to the mid-range and looking for plays here, AD is probable, so I don't think we want to play Christian Wood, but we've seen AD being probable really doesn't mean anything. He's been probable like the last 2 or 3 games, and he's sat out all 3 of the games, so even if AD is probable, we don't know if he's going to play. So if he's out, Christian Wood, 6,300, would become an option you could consider. Alex Lynn at 5,500, I don't mind, but now that John Collins is coming back, I would imagine that takes a few minutes away from him. And against Philly, I doubt they're going to play a ton of big lineups without Embiid, so that's probably a riskier play. Rashawn Holmes with no DeAndre Ayton, a guy you could look to, but he's in a very tough matchup with the Jazz. Not a core play for me today, especially since we have guys that are cheaper. I did like him a lot less late, and he came through. Probably won't be going back there, though. It's a tough matchup, and his price tag rose a bit. Plus, we have, like I said, the value plays that are cheaper. If you're going sub 5K, though, looking for cheap center plays, really the center plays I like for value are the ones I've talked about. Kaminsky, Cornette, Von Rab, you can all play at this position. So yeah, guys, I think that's it for center, and I think that's it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.